Hi everybody, this is Julissa. Thank you so much everybody for coming back to my channel. Thank you so much for listening in the podcast. It is June 2nd, 2024. I had to come here and basically make this video, make this episode regarding the sentencing of Michelle Troconis. We finally arrived on that day, this past Friday, May 31st, where this event that happened, the disappearance of Jennifer Dulos back in 2019, that I have been following for a very long time. Ever since I learned, I always say this, since I learned that a mom from New Canaan was missing. And finally, May 31st, 2024, Michelle Troconis, Fotis Dulos' former girlfriend, was finally sentenced on March 1st, 2024. She was found guilty. And this past Friday, like I just said, she was finally sentenced. What an emotional day it was Friday. I was watching it live, and you really you really get to see when you hear the family speaking, specifically the five children of Jennifer Dulos, you really get to see what it is that you have been talking about for the past since 2019. Like, for me, I speak about this case all the time. I go to New Canaan a lot. I go to the memorial in Waveney. I go, just being in New Canaan, the town where Jennifer was last seen, Waveney Park, the little memorial that they have built there where her car was found, and just being there and being so involved in the story somehow. You really don't get what it is exactly until you hear the family speaking. That's what happened to me at some point. I don't know if it was Petros or the other twin boy of her when he was talking. I was like, I can't even. I'm like, I was recording the whole thing. I'm like, I'm not even gonna record it to get snippets of it. I'm gonna have to rewatch this a couple times because you really get to hear what they really went through. These are not just kids in a photograph with their mom. These are kids that wonder, where was their mom, right? Was she ever going to be found? And also to hear them express themselves before and after. It was a very emotional day. Like, it really, I'm glad that they did that. I'm glad that they were able to speak because it really gave kind of like a behind the scenes, I guess you can say, for me at least, of what really happened. It wasn't just a mom who dropped off the kids at school and disappeared. It was like her missing on this earth is affecting so many people. And I think at some point Michelle Troconis didn't think that was even like an issue. She kept saying that Jennifer was sick. Many times she said that. Very disrespectful to even speak about somebody like that, instead of saying, I just want them to be separated. I want this divorce to be finalized. There was a lot of hard things that were said that needed to be said during this sentencing day, because, you know um at the end of the day, she did really move into Jennifer's home that she built for her family. She did move into the same bedroom, in the same bed that belonged to Jennifer, and she still wants to act like she didn't know anything about it. That it was an amicable divorce. If it was an amicable divorce, Jennifer would have been more involved with her, especially if the kids were going to be around her, right? You see, I mean, we have seen amicable divorces where, especially when there are children involved, you get surprised to see two moms speaking to each other because the best interest is the kids, right? So when a divorce is amicable, you get to see the two sides speaking with each other, being cordial, just for the sake of maintaining a good relationship, because that is the life right now. But when Michelle Trocanes is not even allowed to be there during the visitation, that the children had to even lie about it. They say that. They said it on Friday. They had to lie to their own mom because Michelle insisted to be there when, when it was visitation day. You really think this actress from Venezuela didn't think, wait a second, a very well professional person who did acting, who owned businesses, who did so many other things, right? And then they revealed something very shocking also on Friday about her. She's not gonna say, well, if you guys get along, if this is so amicable, I want to sit down and speak with Jennifer. I wanted her to come to the house. I want to meet her at the school, right? I wanted her to give me permission to even attend some of the parents' meeting. And if that was not allowed, wouldn't you think that's a red flag? And you will be like, wait a second, do you guys really get along? Or you lying to me for this, right? None of that was a red flag to her because she knew it was not an amicable divorce, obviously, right? It's so crazy. Everything that had happened, it was everything that happened, like I said, before and after was basically revealed to us, at least for the public. It was revealed to us on sentencing days to hear their kids having to move from Farmington to New Canaan and to hear their mom cry and to know that Michelle was the person, right, responsible for all of that, for their life being completely torn apart. And I know people can say, nobody's perfect, the cheating and the divorce and whatever, right? At the end of the day, the whole thing, her meeting with Fotis and getting together with him, was the beginning to this whole tragedy that happened in this family. Look at what it is, right? When you do things wrong from the get-go, it will never lead to a good result in life. Okay, it will never lead to a good result in life. Okay, I always say this, I have to speak from what I know. Being a creator myself, you should see me like some days when I'm doing a collection and I get tired, I'm like, I'm gonna skip this part. I'm gonna skip this part. You start cutting corners because you think you can still get a good result at the end, and then you get that end result and you're like, man, I should have done the complete pattern. I should have followed what I knew what was the right thing to do, right? Because when you get the end result, it's not what you expected. If anything, you will have to redo the whole thing, right? So everything that happened in that relationship was the cause of them meeting together and decided to go alone, and for herself to also deciding to go along with the whole thing. It's not like it happened in the span of like 3 months. It happened for years. I think they say they met in 2016. Jennifer went missing in 2019. Michelle Troconis had all this time to say, maybe Fotis is lying to me. If she wants to come out and say she's innocent of everything, she had 3 years to figure out, like, wait, things are not making sense here. How come I'm not allowed to go to Jennifer's house? How come she doesn't want me there if you guys are amicable, right? It's just like she wants to play this character with the translating all of that. I'm not here to bash her. I think it's very clear what she has done. I do believe 100% that she knows exactly what happened with Jennifer Dulos. She knows exactly what they did with the body. Okay? And before I say what it was revealed this Friday, I must say once again, to hear Jennifer Dulos' kids speak like that and how everything has affected them before and how it affected them after, and the things that they're dealing with in life, is very heartbreaking to hear them, right? To see Gloria Farber speak about her child that went missing, and like, and not hearing from her and her not responding. And it was so good also, by the way, to see Jennifer's sister too. I think throughout this whole ordeal since 2019, I really haven't seen her. I don't think I ever seen a photo of her, right? Michelle, I think her name is also. I don't think I ever seen a photo of Jennifer's sister. So it was good to hear that. Michelle Trocanes thought that she was just, she's gonna come and take over, and Jennifer didn't matter to anybody. God forbid, you even think about a person in that way. For her to continuously say, she's sick, she's this and the other, and what she said to Pavel, right? She should be buried next to the dog or something like that. God forbid you ever find yourself speaking about a person in that way. Even like knowing what she has done, I don't wish that for her either. God forbid I even wish that on her at all, right? So you have to be so careful what comes out of your mouth. And I don't know if you guys remember, I think during the trial, when another shocking moment that I remember during the trial was when they presented the bloody clothing of Jennifer, cut down through the center, and that was a big question for me. Why was her clothing cut down to the center, right? And I believe I remember doing research about it because I believe, and I remember making a video. I think it was a little too morbid for somebody, let's just say like Fotis Dulos, who I don't think he had ever done this before in the past. So he's not a professional killer, right? For him to get to New and to attack her, to do all of that, to use the zip ties, and then whatever place they met up, to still handle the body, right? Look at the body, handle the body so much so to even like cut the clothing down to the center. I knew then that there was another person involved in this, and I also knew that whoever did the cutting of the clothing of Jennifer Dulos had some type of medical training. I knew it right away because when you look at photos of victims, of accidents, or people that you gotta call an ambulance or they're having some type of heart issue, you see how the paramedics and the doctor, they cut the clothing right through the center, including the underwear. So I was like, that is a very professional mark, right? When somebody has training on something, and when they haven't. I think, like that to me was a big red flag, because I was like, that's a very professional way, even though it's not like stray, obviously, but even so, when you compare the photos of Jennifer Dulos' clothing, how it was found, and you search paramedics cutting clothing or doctors cutting clothing, is so similar. It's the same thing, and they cut right through the garment, right? I don't think a person who have never done this before would even think about something like that, right? So I was like, that to me is a training mark. That shows you whoever cut her clothing has some type of medical experience. That's exactly what I thought the moment I saw it. And then I started doing research, and I remember making a video about it, an episode. And I said, I wonder what her father does for a living. And turns out her dad is a heart surgeon, right? And then what I was saying was that this Friday during sentencing day, the big reveal to me was to hear her friends, everybody that she met in Avon in 2019, right after she knew she was being looked at by the investigators. She worked very hard to find a community, attend church, and get people to testify again, in her favor. So one of the things I believe one of the pastors said, who was speaking on behalf of Michelle Troconis, was that she had helped her dad. It's how crazy how everything just comes to light, man. I was like thinking to myself, wow, this pastor is just sealing the deal right here for all of us. He said, Michelle is so good, this and the other. She actually, when she was younger, she volunteered with her dad in South America to perform heart surgery, to help victim or perform heart surgery to children of low income or something in South America. She helped with that. It's so crazy. They're trying to make her look good, even though, like, we already knew that cutting off the clothes was such a big red flag. Like, why would you do that if a lot of the times when there is a violent attack, learning from like experiences, like hearing a lot of crime stories and things like that, when the attacker does something like that, especially when it's like a an old, husband, a boyfriend, strange, whatever, right? Somebody that they had a relationship in the past before, they usually want to cover the face of the victim. They don't want to see them because it will haunt them, right? They say it will haunt them for the rest of their life. I always thought that the cutting of the clothes, to me, I was like, I cannot picture somebody who has probably never done this before, like for these doulos, to do all this work and still be able to handle her body so much. So that's when I knew, number one, that somebody else was involved. And when I saw the way the cutting of her clothes were, I was like, that is a medical professional who did that, or somebody who has some type of training with it, right? And I was like, that's crazy. And then we let it be, right? And the trial happened. She got convicted. Now the sentencing day, here comes another testimony of somebody who knew her in 2019, saying how she mentioned that she had helped her dad, who is a very well known heart surgeon, had helped her dad. It got reminded me of something just now. She had helped her dad in South America to perform heart surgery for special for children, right? And I was like, oh, so she has some type of trainings, medical, right? Specifically in the area of the chest, right? In the heart area. And I remember just now making that video about that. And I don't know if you watched that, but I remember saying to you, when I was younger, my dad took me and my sister to New York to a TV studio because my dad had always worked on television, right? And I remember my dad showing us a TV set and how cameras work and all of that. And I remember, oh man, that's so cool. Because, a lot of the times when you're younger, your dad, it's like take your kids to work day and you learn what they do, right? I also was taken to my mom's work and I saw how she worked and I also helped her too. So that's when I said in the video, I was like, I wonder what Michelle Troconis' dad does for a living. And there you have it. On Friday, it was basically revealed to us that she did. I'm not saying that she did the heart surgery, but she knew or she has seen to see the cutting of the clothes down to the center. That's what a heart surgeon does. In a case of emergency, obviously, in a case of an accident or something, that's usually what they do, right? A paramedic type of thing. And I just, I was like, that is so crazy. And everything comes to the light. Everything comes to the light. And I just hope that they continue to, now that she's sentenced, right? So she got sentenced to 14 and a half years. Basically, she's available to be released in 2038, they say, and then she gets on probation for 5 years. One thing I gotta say though, Michelle Troconis completely misunderestimated the American justice system, and because of that, it's so crazy. I'm like, has she done this in the past? Right? Has she been a repeat offender? Because if they really want to say if she's really all that they say that she is, right? It's a very kind of like wild thing for her to follow and continue to lie about what Fortis did, right? Or if she has not done this in the past. And the reason that I say that is because she definitely thought that she was gonna get away with it. She and people often who done that before, they when they think they're gonna get away with this because they already have gotten away with something in the past, something similar to that, right? So it's so crazy. I also think, now that she's sentenced, maybe she will speak about what happened exactly to Jennifer's body. Why was she burning the chimney, right? Why was she using the chimney that day? And then I was just thinking about it this afternoon. Maybe, once again, I say this, maybe she's not really saying anything about where the body is because it's gonna reveal that she was actually the person who did basically the most, right? She was basically the person who physically kind of like took care of the objective that day. As crazy as that sound, I think that's what it is. Or somebody, right? Because she was on the phone with her sister for a long time that day. Or somebody within that, I don't want to get the family involved, but I feel like there's something that because she's not, like, this lady's already in jail and she's already sentenced. So why is she not revealing exactly where Jennifer Barris is? We know that she knows, right? So she's not saying it because she's protecting somebody. I mean, that's it. And she's not even protecting herself because she already got caught and she already got sentenced and she's not going anywhere. There's no appealing ban at all. It was denied also. So I think that she's not revealing all the details specifically to the body, what happened to the body, because she's protecting somebody maybe within her close circle. That's it. I think that's what it is, and I also think for Jennifer Dulos' phone to be connected that afternoon of Waveney Park also, we know that there is also a third person who helped Fortes in New Canaan, who went by around 3 p.m., 3:25 p.m. that same day to see if the car was still there, right? So we know that that third person, that third person is being protected by Michelle Troconis, and it has to be somebody. I'm thinking it has to be somebody very close to her, right? Because if it wasn't like I'm trying to see if it wasn't like if it was just an acquaintance, like she would be already settled already. It has to be somebody she's protecting that who's very close to her. So I don't know what else to say. So crazy. I don't think this is, even though she already got sentenced, I think there's more to come about this. Everything comes to the light. We have seen in this case that everything comes to light. I really like how the judge said a lot of things before sentencing her. At times though, I felt that he was very, very lenient with her. I think the testimony of the people, everybody that she met in Avon in 2019 really got to him actually. I was like, this guy is just he's forgetting one thing about everything that they all have in common is that they all met her in 2019 when she was being sought after by the police and the investigation about the missing of Jennifer Dulos. I think I was like, Judge Randall, do you get that all these people have one thing in common? Is that they all met Michelle in 2019, and they all basically said, oh, for the past 4 years she has been a wonderful friend, even though she already had been living in that community, right? She was living in Fort Jefferson. When did she move, right? 2018, like early or late 2017. So why is everybody just talking from when they met her in 2019? So it's just crazy. I think there's more to come, guys. When it comes, she still owe us. If she owed us the public, imagine what she owes the family, the kids, right? She needs to tell us what happened to the body because we know that she knows. So let me know what you guys think about the whole sentencing of Michelle Troconis. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming back to my channel and listening in the podcast. Have a good day. God bless.